Hey there, hospitality team. Wanted to thank all of you guys so much for being part of the egg hunt and Easter. The last couple of weekends have been some of our biggest as a church in history. So at the egg hunt weekend, for example, we had 3,041 people at our campus. Many of those were kids or parents with kids, and all of you made that possible by serving that weekend and really helping to create a great experience for our families and our kids as they came through the doors. So thank you so much. You are phenomenal, and I appreciate you. I know that for some of you, you served multiple or all services that weekend, and your effort made such a huge difference, especially with that 2 o'clock service, which was a bit of a guinea pig experience for us. We've never had a service where there was no adult worship experience and everything was in Kid Zone. And so it was so important that we and our staff were working together to create that guest experience, and it went super well, super smoothly. So Erica, fantastic job working with our team to coordinate that and get the lines moving. Everything moved so much faster. If you were here last year, you remember we were blown away and not prepared for the masses that came. And this year we just made some adjustments and really went really smoothly. So thank you all for being there and making that happen. I appreciate all of you so much. I wanted to just take a few minutes and go over some things that I have noticed in the last couple weeks of things that we can kind of tighten up with a little bit in the hospitality department. And just a couple of things that I've noticed. Some of them are not even something that you would see every weekend. They're just kind of the oddball cases of like, well, what do I do if this happens? And so I want to make it a point to address those things as they come up. And so if you do notice something that you're unsure how to handle, make sure that you're talking to your operations leader or to Erica. And if there's something that we're noticing a lot of people with questions, and we want to do a video like this so that we can communicate things that we're all on the same page about. So please don't feel like you can't ask us questions. I know we've been going through a lot of transitions to Planning Center and to the new check-in equipment, all of those things. So it's really important that you all feel confident and comfortable with what you're doing. So here's a couple things that I've noticed. So number one is the magical guest tags. So I wanted to talk about this for a little bit. You all are familiar with these. Wanted to talk about when we use these and why and how, all of that. So these guest tags should really only be reserved for adults and teenagers who are not serving in Kid Zone. So we don't want to give these tags to a leader that doesn't have a tag. Like if they just for some reason don't print their tags, don't give them one of these. We don't want to give them to a child that is there for the first time checking things out. We want to give them our normal Kid Zone check-in name tag, but we only want to use these for the adults and teenagers that are visiting. The reason for that is they're bright red so that they're easy to see, and it's kind of an indication to all of us on the inside of the gym that someone is there they're not a leader, they're not a kid, and so we want to make sure that they sit in a separate section. So just like we handled this with our egg hunt when we had a parent section and a kid section, so parents did not sit with their kids, and that's just for security. One of our biggest values in Kid Zone is safety, and so the guest tag is another way that we can indicate, okay, here's an adult that's checking things out, or they're here to help their kid get comfortable, but we want to make sure that they're properly labeled. Just like we wear a name tag, we want to give them a name tag. So I just wanted to give a quick highlight to that's important. Now, if you have an adult or a teenager that says, hey, I'd like to stay in Kid Zone, okay, great, you're welcome to do that, but we'll do two things. Number one, let me get you a name tag that looks like this. And number two, let me connect you with either Pastor Sarah or one of the service coordinators who's on the inside, and they can show you around in Kid Zone. Now, that's really important. If we just send someone in with a guest tag and they don't have someone walking them in, they don't know what to do. They will probably have more questions, or they'll end up sitting with kids or doing something that we may not want them to do. So it's just really important that they have a good experience as well. So just like we've done with the egg hunt and our bigger events, let's make sure we pass them off to someone that can host them appropriately and show them around. Now, that should not be you. Your number one goal and priority is to greet families and keep the check-in process moving smoothly. So if there are two or more of you at the desk and you're able to step away for a moment to connect them, that's great. But otherwise, don't hesitate to call me over or to call one of the service coordinators or another adult Kid Zone leader to show them around. That's really important. So what we would do for guests that are adults or teenagers is give them a tag and connect them with a leader on the inside, okay? Now, if there's a child that is in the same boat, maybe they're not sure that they want to stay in Kid Zone, maybe they're just visiting. So we want to do the best we can to help paint a really good picture and get them excited about Kid Zone before they come in. Now, I hear all of you doing this every week. I think you build up Kid Zone in a really great way, so great job with that. But there is the instances once in a while when a kid may not feel ready to come in, or the parents might have some reservations. This past weekend we had a family come for the first time with a child who's actually in a foster care situation. And so there's a lot of transition that this child's going through, a lot of sensitivity there. And so it made sense that they weren't quite sure if they wanted to stay or not to stay. What we want to do in those cases is get as much of the information for the family as we can. And while we're doing that, hey, this is just so we have everything ready to go if you decide to stay, and we're excited for you to come to Kid Zone. I think you're going to love it inside. We're playing all these games today. You're going to have a blast. Let me introduce you to Pastor Sarah, whatever you want to say, but everything's very positive and building excitement. Then once you get their information, fill out your or print the name tag for them as you normally would for a guest. But then you can either put that on the child or give that to a Kid Zone leader, but someone on the inside that will again host them. So the same thing as we would do with an adult guest. So give them a tag, give the parent a guest tag, give the child a sticker tag, and they'll walk in, but make sure they're with somebody that can host them and show them around, because then our goal is always to help them overcome any fear or anxiety they may have and help them feel comfortable and help them want to stay in Kid Zone. Now, if they do decide to leave, of course, we want to do the same thing we would do with checkout and just make sure those tags are collected. But we don't want to give kids these, so let's reserve these only for adults and for teenagers. But if there's a kid that's just not sure, let's do what we can to help them feel comfortable. The parent can come in with their child. We just want to give them the appropriate name tags and again connect them with someone who can show them around. So in both cases, give them the right name tags and connect them with an adult leader that can show them around in Kid Zone, okay? One other thing I wanted to talk about is the appropriate process to register a family. And so this is going to be kind of an overview. I won't go into a lot of detail with this because I know that we're all still getting familiar with the tablet and things like that. But when you're registering a new family, unless it's crazy busy, let's do everything we can to use the tablet. Okay, so the benefit of registering everybody digitally is that they're immediately in the system. The system will then track that that's their first attended date as soon as we check in the child. So make sure that you're registering the family, entering the child's information or children's information, and then you print the tag immediately after. When you do that, it tells the system this is their first time here. That's why that is so important. So when we take the cards and enter them in later, it creates a delay and it's not the cleanest process. And I know that's something that we're used to doing, but we really want to work towards only doing digital check-in and registration. So that's what you would want to do with that. So enter the information on the tablet, print the tags, and that will tell the system that they are registered here for the very first time. Now, if you're backed up and you're getting a really long line and the tablet is taking a long time, yes, you can absolutely revert to using clipboards and giving people cards. And then I would ask during that downtime, during the service, to take that information and physically enter it into the system, getting the whole household and family information in there. And once you do, also creating a printed check-in tag, because again, that tells the system that they're here for the first time. So I know that's a new step and maybe hasn't been the clearest before, for which I apologize, but that's something we want to be doing, is using digital registration and printing the tags on site, whether it's right in front of you when you give the kid a tag or after they've gone in if you have a big rush and you have to go back and do it during the service. And then one other thing I'll mention is if you have a family that has kids in both areas, so if they have a younger one that's in Kid Zone Junior and they also have a kids in elementary and they're in Kid Zone, they can fill out all of that information right there in one place, fill out one card or fill out one digital check-in point, print the name tags. Then you would want to walk them in, explain the checkout process, as I believe everyone does really well so far right now, and to explain that to them, and then walk them down or have a Kid Zone leader walk them to Kid Zone Junior, because they don't always know where that is, and we want to make sure we don't have kids just walking around with a name tag on that is in an unsecure area. So secure areas are Kid Zone and Kid Zone Junior. Unsecure is anywhere else in the church. And so once they have left one of those Kid Zone or Kid Zone Junior areas, they should always be checked out and should not have a name tag on. And so if we see a kid with a name tag on, that's an instant like security breach of, oh gosh, we have a kid that ran off, even though they're with a parent. And so if we walk the families down, if they're not sure where to go, and then they're physically putting that name tag on at that second checkpoint, that will help them have a really clear indication that, okay, now they're being checked in to Kid Zone Junior. If you have any questions about this, again, talk to Erica or talk to me. I know this is a lot of detail by video, but just wanted to mention a couple things that I've seen. Okay, and then finally, two other quick updates. And so this week, you've probably noticed you're starting to receive emails that you're scheduled in Planning Center. So continue to look for that and respond to those. We are not using Sling anymore. We're moving away from that and using Planning Center. This is something all of our church is using to track all of our volunteers and all of the awesome things that they're doing. And so this helps us really know where everybody is serving and also helps us easily schedule everyone in the same capacity, in the same way, so that we're all speaking the same language. And so if this is something you're unsure about, you're not sure how to use the app, or you're not sure how to respond to the emails, make sure you ask me or ask Erica when you see her. We want to make sure that you are feeling comfortable with that because it is a new process, but it's going to help us just work together better as a team. So that's Planning Center. And then finally, for this weekend, you may have some kids that come up to you that have to tell you about a secret password. Okay, the reason for this is we did something different this year with our guests. So we had about close to 500 kids that came to Kid Zone for the egg hunt. And so instead of sending a card as we usually do, we wanted to try something different that would reach families in a way that they're most used to communicating, and that is text message. And so we've sent a text message to all of these families telling them, we're so excited that you came to Kid Zone, would love for your child to come back and receive a special prize pack. All they have to do is tell us a secret password when they come to the check-in desk. Now that password is Starfruit. So if you have a child or family that comes up to you and they either show you the text message or the child tells you the password, then they will get a prize pack. Now the prize packs are already made up for you. They are behind the check-in desk in Kid Zone. So we're just looking for that secret password. This should only be for families that attended the egg hunt or Easter. If there is another time that we'll do this, there will be a different password, and I'll make sure that you know what it is. But for this weekend, we're looking for Starfruit, or for the next few weeks, I should say. That's the password to get the Easter prize pack. And the pack is a bag of Milky Ways, and there's a Silly Sipper card and a little card with information about Kid Zone in there. But wanted to try something new. We're going to see how that goes. The prayer and my goal there is to help connect with new families in a different way, and a way that's a little bit faster than receiving the card. So a lot of information, ladies, but thank you so much for listening and for all that you do every week to serve, to keep Kid Zone safe, and to create a great customer service experience for our families. I appreciate you all so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you this weekend. Don't forget the secret password. I'll see you later.